I'm a conversational hypnotherapist who spent years in survival mode while looking completely successful on the outside. And here's what I missed. From the outside, my life looked like it was working. I was responsible, capable, I ran a business, I moved 3 countries, the person who could handle a lot, a go-getter. I had a child I loved deeply, I was working hard, keeping everything together. But inside, my nervous system was constantly on edge. Let me see if this sounds familiar. You wake up already thinking about the day ahead in that anxious sort of state. Your mind jumps straight to logistics, deadline, things that could go wrong, and you move through the day solving problems constantly, making decisions, carrying a lot of responsibilities. Then you come home, and instead of relaxing, your body stays tense. Noise feels louder than it should. Questions from kids feel like too much input. You love them deeply, but some evenings you feel like you're running on fumes and constant pressure. I lived in that state for years. I raised my first child in that nervous system, and it was painful to admit this, but a lot of the time I wasn't really enjoying motherhood the way I wanted it. I was anxious, always scanning for problems, hypervigilant, always trying to manage things. If something went wrong, my mind immediately jumped into fixing mode. I thought that meant I was being responsible. But what I didn't realize at the time is that my nervous system had been trained for survival since childhood. And I adapted to that. I grew up in a very chaotic home with an alcoholic parent. There was a strong sense of abandonment and uncertainty. So very early in life, I became the responsible one. That's how I survived, the caretaker, the helper. I learned to carry a lot, solve problems quickly, keep everything from falling apart. And those skills helped me survive my childhood. They also made me look very capable as an adult, but they came with a cost. My nervous system was constantly on alert. I didn't know how to relax, always preparing for the next problem. And when you live like that long enough, you start seeing everything through the lens of something needs fixing. Even parenting. Looking back, I can see how that affected my daughter. I loved her deeply, but the atmosphere around us was often carrying some sort of tension. I was trying to manage her behavior, solve problems, prevent problems, and children feel that. Without meaning to, she sometimes felt like she herself was a problem to be fixed. Years later, something happened that changed everything. I had my second child 15 years after my first. And by then, I had done a lot of deep nervous system work. I had healed parts of myself, the parts that were constantly reacting and fixing. I had trained as a conversational hypnotherapist, and I had spent hundreds of hours working with people stuck in chronic stress patterns who are also parents. So my nervous system was very different. And raising 2 children, 15 years apart from completely different nervous system states, taught me something I could never have learned from a book or a course or advice. The biggest difference wasn't that I never got stressed. Life still happens. Kids argue, schedules get chaotic, things can go wrong. The difference was how quickly I could move out of stress. With my first child, when something stressful happened, I stayed stuck in those feelings, sometimes for days, sometimes for months, even years. I used to run the same patterns of behavior, thinking and emotions. And it felt like I was trapped inside those patterns I couldn't change. But with my son, something very different happens. We can get upset, we can argue, I can feel stress rise in my body, but I can also reset something that was not available to me prior. I can reset within minutes. And we talk, we repair, we laugh. Sometimes we're joking with each other just 10 minutes later of an argument. And there is a sense of lightness and trust between us that comes from that ability to move through emotions instead of getting stuck in them. And that's when it really clicked for me. The most important skill in parenting isn't never getting stressed. It's not some technique. It's having a nervous system that can return to calm again, that can regulate. Because when your nervous system can do that, your home feels completely different. There is more space for connection, more room for humor, more trust between you and your child. That realization completely changed how I approached my work. As a hypnotherapist, today I help overstimulated parents reset their nervous systems so they can move from work mode into present parent mode quickly. Not through hacks or complicated techniques, but by working with the deeper stress patterns that can keep people stuck in survival mode. Because once your nervous system learns how to reset, those small everyday moments with your kids start to feel different. If this resonates with you and you're ready to experience that shift in your own home, check out my course, Busy Parent Reset. You can comment with the word reset or send me a DM and I'll take it from there.